Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial. So now is the time to talk about the model. An actual web application will always be connected to the database, but in this case or in this tutorial I haven't included that. Rather, I have created some list so that I can have hard-coded values within it, and then I can use that in the web application. So if we look at the userdb.java, and you can see that I have hard-coded two values with user1 and user2 with the name and password as AA and the name and password for the other one as BB, and then I have added those to the user list array list. Okay, and the type of the user list is user. So if we look into the user over here, we can see that this is a plain old Java object. That means it has just the attributes, the username and the password, or you can say these are just the two fields and they are the getter and setter methods. Okay, so now in the same userdb.java file I have one find user where I'm comparing the username and password, and if they match I'm returning true, otherwise returning false. Okay, and the same thing is in the guest db. In here I don't have anything hard-coded, so that means whenever the application is loading, this guest db will always be empty. I mean this guest list array list will always be empty. On the other hand, the user db or user list will be always populated with these two values. Now the question is that how I'm going to initialize these lists. Okay, because if I don't initialize it, if I try to access the user list, it will be null. So to overcome that situation, I have used a startup listener, and in the tutorial I talked about that the listeners are implementing the servlet context listener, and it has two important methods, which one is the context initialized and the context destroyed. So the context initialized is invoked whenever the first servlet is being created, and or in this case I'm doing what, the servlet context, and I'm getting the context from the event, and then I'm initializing my guest db and the user db. Okay, and then this guest db is populated with an empty list, and this user db is populated with two values a and b. Okay, and then you can see that I have put those two values, guest db and user db, with the name guest db and user db over here, and setting as the context.set attributes. So I'm setting those in my context so that I can use that later on. That means whenever I am browsing or whenever I am within the within the application, I can get attribute guest db and then use this one. Okay, so I'll be talking about the attributes later on, but the purpose of this tutorial or the purpose of this lesson is that to show that how I'm using the guest db and user db to initialize my array list, and at what point I'm doing it. I'm doing it at the very first time when the application has started using the context listener. Okay, servlet context listener, and then whenever the application is going to be down, this one will be invoked, and this is also one time. Okay, so that's all for today's tutorial. Thank you.